Hey, what's going on? Jordan Sherwood Wood on 1063 for your UFC on ESPN+29 Preview, UFC Jacksonville, which takes place tomorrow night. Everybody but one person made weight at the weigh-ins earlier on today, Carl Robertson. And actually, that's one of the fights that we are recommending a play on between him and Marvin Vettori. The only guy of recent note to take the UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesanya to the distance, a split decision win for the champ when he took on the Italian Dream. So that's one of our fight picks. We've got 5 selections in total. FatJackSports.com if you want the picks. Rough night it was for UFC 249. Our picks did not play out, but we are winning since November, 9-5 over the last several fight cards. So certainly looking forward to the fights tomorrow night. Should be a good one. Light heavyweight fight, maybe a title eliminator between Anthony Smith and Glover Teixeira, two guys that have fought John Jones before, really weren't competitive in either fight. Unanimous decision wins for Jones in both of those contests. Here you got 31-year-old Smith, who, despite the fact had to prevent a home intruder from harming his family, stealing anything from his house, has had a solid camp. He's ready to go. He's coming off that impressive victory over Alexander Gustafsson in Sweden over a year ago. Glover Teixeira has won 3 fights in a row, so he's on a little bit of a streak himself. He's gone back to his grappling and submission days, which got him to the UFC. When he got to the UFC, he became a knockout artist and was showcasing that skill set. At 40 years of age, that's why people are fading Glover Teixeira. They feel like that age is going to catch up with him. His chin has been shaky before in some recent contests. And Anthony Smith is certainly a finisher. He's got finishes over his last several fights. And when he has lost, he's lost to either Jones or Thiago Santos. So the move up to light heavyweight from middleweight was a good one for Anthony Smith. I think if this fight gets to the ground, it will be interesting. Smith is certainly well versed in the submission game, but he is no Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt like Glover Teixeira. So really, you got to think about 2 things in this fight. One, the age difference, 31 versus 40. The favors obviously Smith being younger, being able to go a little bit harder. Plus, he does have power, and Glover Teixeira does have a shaky chin at times. But if the fight goes to the mat, I think it'll be very interesting to see how it plays out. It's actually also one of our recommended plays. So FatJackSports.com if you want a feel for that. Co-main event's interesting. Big Ben Rothwell, still in the UFC, still representing Kenosha Strong, and he welcomes OSP, Ovince SaintPreux, to the heavyweight division. Interesting move by OSP. He won his last fight at light heavyweight via his infamous Von Flue choke, but now he goes up in weight, gives up. He's going to give up only about 25, 30 pounds, maybe 40 come fight night, but he weighed in at 240 pounds. He'll be quicker. He'll be, more agile, but Rothwell is a freakishly athletic heavyweight. For as lumbering as he appears, he's got bats for hands. He's got a sneaky submission game. And while OSP will probably have to take advantage of his reach, he'll take advantage of his speed. I like Big Ben Rothwell for the upset. I recommended this play last week on VSiN. I'm sticking with it after thinking about it for another week. I think Big Ben Rothwell is ripe for the pickings in a big-time way to come out on top. He's looked a little suspect over his last couple of fights, but a knockout win over Stefan Struve. And OSP, he wins the fights that he shouldn't win, and he loses the fights that he should win, and he's favored in this fight. But I like Ben Rothwell. I think that there is some value on him as an underdog. Couple other plays that I recommend throughout the fight card that are not part of FatJackSports.com, but certainly worth taking a look at. Brian Kelleher. Boom is a lethal featherweight. He always comes for a fight, and I like him especially as an underdog. And the opener, it's heavyweights, but it is certainly worth a look. Chase Sherman, the Vanilla Gorilla, is back after a short stint in the bare knuckle boxing fighting championships and a regional scene win streak. He welcomes Isaac Villanueva, a normal light heavyweight, moving up in weight to heavyweight to make his UFC debut at 36 years of age. The film on this guy, he's beaten some UFC guys that have fallen out of the UFC, but certainly has some victories over him, some finishes over them. And he's going to be quicker. And I believe his hand speed and his power will be enough. I like Villanueva for the upset in the opener. 5 fight selections for at fatjacksports.com. Check them out. And one real quick mention, thank you for the vote to be part of KNR's GOAT bracket. I'm a 16 seed. By this time I'm filming this, I'm likely to lose to the number 1 seed, Bruce Drennan. But I appreciate the consideration. Inside the Cage got its start on ESPN Cleveland, and I appreciate the love. So enjoy the fights tomorrow night. We'll have more analysis for Saturday's fight card between Alistair Overeem and Walt Harris a little bit later on in the week. Love the fights. Watch the fights.